Once again, Harrison Bader is not in the starting lineup for the Philadelphia Phillies as they take on the Dodgers in Game 4 of their National League Divisional Series. First pitch just after 6 o'clock Eastern Time. Dodgers up 2-1 in the series. Brewers and Cubs will play Game 4 of their best-of-5 matchup at 9 o'clock Eastern Time in Chicago with Milwaukee up 2-1. Former Boston Red Sox outfielder Mike Greenwell has died. He passed away at the age of 62 after a battle with cancer. Arizona Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray didn't practice for the second straight day because of a foot injury, and neither did Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson, who's still dealing with that hamstring strain, and no sight of Brock Purdy at 49ers practice in the portion that was open to the media. Patriots corner Christian Gonzalez limited in practice with his hamstring injury. Eagles and Giants start Week 6 tonight, 8:15 Eastern. Linebacker Nakobe Dean activated from the PUP list for Philly. Defensive lineman Jalen Carter questionable with a heel injury. Heat head coach Eric Spoelstra, the new head coach of USA men's basketball. I'm Dan Byer.
And don't think I'm going to be here sitting like a sad panda all day, because I'm not. The Yankees stink. They didn't deserve to win. I tip my hat, even though I'm not wearing one, to the Toronto Blue Jays because they play a better brand of baseball. Oh, that's what I signed up to watch when I was a kid. When I invested in this game that I love, it was called baseball, and there was fundamentals, and there was things involved. And the Yankees abandoned all of that just to swing in the air and whiff and miss and go for home runs. And that's not baseball. That's failure. Baseball. It may have worked a few years ago. It doesn't work anymore. I'm sick of it. I'm done with it. And now I'm going to pout.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But I'm not sad. I'm not sad. In fact, I'm rocking out. Let's go.
Well, you know what? Before we get into today's show, speaking of your Yankees, Vladdy Guerrero wanted to chime in and say what's up to you.
Dale, Yankee lose. Yankee lose. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby.
Yankees lose.
Yankees lose.
First of all, that's disrespectful. Second of all, didn't we say yesterday we hate razzers?
No razzing.
And you're going to razz me?
He forced me to do this.
With Florida from Good Times? I mean, is that Big Papi? You're going to razz me with Guerrero and I could be hearing Big Papi? Get out of my face with that.
That was a cool baseball moment.
Dale.
Yeah, Rich, wait until your Mets are out of it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, please. I know. Well, you know what? It poses a great question we're going to get to in a few minutes, and it's a simple now what? So we're going to get to that. A lot of NFL. Going to talk today about Jackson Dart. We're going to go old school and 50 hits. We are doing it live from the Fox Sports Radio studio. And if you miss any of this, the podcast, always available wherever you get your pods. Just search Covino Rich, give it 5 stars. And we're doing it live on YouTube right now. YouTube.com/Covino and Rich FSR.
Do it live! So action-packed showgram program. We're the pros. In the gram, we have a producer, Danny G. What up, Danny G?
Yeah.
Your Doyers looked like cheeks last night.
Yeah, they did. The Phillies we know they're a good team, obviously.
Yeah, but why we acted like
they weren't going to go out being swept. I didn't think that, honestly.
I'm not saying that to razz you. They still play another day. I'm just saying they look like buns.
I'm not super confident about today's game, by the way. They're going to be playing in the shadows.
Yeah, that's true. And
with a good pitcher going for the Phillies.
Yeah, but still, like, to expect your team to sweep everyone, like, did you think Schwarber was just going to stop hitting home runs? Did you think the Phillies' good starting pitching was just going to stop? Like, the Dodgers, are not the home team in this series.
No, there's a lot of great teams this year, really good teams. And the Blue Jays are one of them. Really good team. Ernie Clement, Lucas, these role players. That's what baseball's about. People stepping up. You can't win with just Aaron Judge and swinging for the fences.
Yeah.
So the teams that are left right now are really great teams. So, of course, the Phillies are going to take one. And they left Kershaw in way too long yesterday. We agree on that. But the Dodgers do face challenges today. Danny G made a hometown point here. Dodger Stadium wasn't meant for day games in October like this. So a lot of shadows they're going to have to battle, but still, it's going to be a fun one to watch today. Iowa Sam is here. Dan Byer's here. Spotty's here. And, again, we're Covino and Rich. We're glad you're here. My team's out. I'm a Yankees fan.
Now what?
I'm bitter. I'm in that bitter stage of, like, screw them. I wasted my whole year. I hate them. I'm never going to watch ever. But they don't deserve to win. Rich's Mets are out. Mariners, Brewers. DB still happy. Danny G still happy. But my question is this. When your team is out, I'm not saying do you pull another rooting interest, but if you're a sports fan, you still want to, like, watch or not. Do you pout and like, I'm not watching, so the season's over for you? Are you really a sports fan if that's your angle here? So rooting's not the word, Rich. It's almost like, do you pull for someone else, or is there a storyline that is automatically the default? Like, is the storyline the Brewers then because no one expected them to win? They're a young team.
I mean, I think there's two ways to go about it. I mean, when your team's out of it, I have friends that at this point say, I'm done watching. And
yeah.
You have
Is
other
that
friends.
The formula?
You have other friends that are like, dude, it's a postseason. What do you mean you're not watching? I think what you do when your team is out of it, you don't jump on a bandwagon, but I think what you do is you step on one. You don't ever claim to be a fan of that team, but right now, as a Mets fan, they failed to make the postseason. They stink. But if I said, you know what, Cal Raleigh's having a magical year. I do like everyone on that team. It's a really likable team. They've never won before. Maybe I'll pull for the Mariners.
Or maybe you root for a good pal like Dan Byer and say, hey, man, the Brewers.
Cheerio, Terang.
Rich, wouldn't you cheer for your kid's favorite team?
Oh, you
Dodgers?
mean the Dodgers? Yeah.
And by the way, we live in Los Angeles, right? So that's also another angle here. The question is, if your team's out, do you tune out? Is that the only way to do this? Or, as a sports fan, do you say, and let's make it very clear, Rich, you said it, but I want to reiterate, we're not saying all of a sudden you're a fan of that team. Get out of here. That's garbage. That's garbage. Basura. That's trash. But do you now pull for another team? Because that's what you're left with. So, all right, my team couldn't win. Let me be the bigger person, and I'm going to root for my buddy's team.
I've heard.
Hey, I like this team. They really play good ball. They deserve it. Like, where does your maturity levels go in this case? And that's what I'm trying to figure out today because the Yankees are fresh out of it, and that's what's on my mind. I'm like, well, man, this season's been popping. We've been saying it all season, right, Danny G? Baseball's popping, baseball. Guess what? Our team's out, but it's still popping. Yeah. So now what?
In the pre-show meeting, Rich said it's only popping if my team's still in it.
It's only popping to me, but I'm still watching.
I don't know, man. It's still electric. All the games yesterday, there's an intensity level that we haven't seen in a long time.
Well,
not with my Yankees, of course, but you're seeing some great baseball. So where do you go? Where does your mindset go? And, I got my answers. Rich has his, but we want to hear from you, too, at 877-99 on Fox, at Covino and Rich, at Fox Sports, at Fox Sports Radio.
Fark Sports?
Yeah.
Fark Sports. Yar.
Next time.
Cut him some. You said Forks Sports Radio?
You hear this guy? He
cut him
can't,
some slack today.
He can't even let it slide. Can't let it slide, this guy.
Cut him some slack today.
He never bumbles and fumbles. Rich Davis, Mr. Perfect.
Didn't you call him Clayshaw the other day? Wasn't that a thing?
That's my pet name for him.
No, he's Richie Stumblebum.
Yeah.
Hey, get off Rich's back. Okay, I'm a Rich Davis guy.
Thank you, Dan Byer.
Yeah, seriously, get off his back.
Oh, man.
No, Covino has no respect for Terang and Cheerio and all your star players.
Did you say Cheerios and Tang? That was like breakfast in 1995.
1985.
1985.
Those are the only Brewers Rich knows, by the way.
Where does your
Cheerio.
maturity level
Tang.
go in this case? I feel like I saw in my peripherals Dan Byer shaking his head like, if my team's out, I tune out. Is that true?
I do, but I actually think one of the great things about being a sports fan is watching an event and having a natural reaction to a game that you didn't know that you were cheering for a certain team. You may have no dog in the fight, but if you sit down tonight and watch one of these two games, there may be a team where obviously you're just like, Yeah, and I kind of want the Brewers to win. I love that about being a sports fan is you go into a game thinking you don't care, and you come out of it, and you're like, why was I rooting for that team the whole time?
Dude, I love that, and that's what I love about fighting, right? Because there's so many times in a preliminary fight or whatever, you're watching two guys you don't really know, but by the middle of that fight, you're pulling for somebody,
yes, yeah.
right? You're like, yeah, I want that guy. And I love that about this thought and about this theory. I'm going to watch these games, and I'm going to figure it out. So I'm thinking it's Brewers. I really am.
Look at him trying to get back in.
How can I root for the Dodgers? How can I root for the Dodgers when they beat the Yankees in the World Series? But then again, I live in L.A. What's the mindset here? But I do love that thought that Dan Byer just shared, and I express that when it comes to fighting. Your heart or your decision comes from the sense of they got this underdog fight that I relate to, and I want to see this guy win. You could feel that way about a team you're not necessarily rooting for, but now you're pulling for. So where do your rooting interests go when your team is out? That's the question.
Well, some people go with the mindset of, well, I'm just going to root for the team that eliminated mine, which I never got, but there are people that...
I know. That's a mindset, but I don't like it.
That's not my mindset.
You heard how you started the show? You wanted to rub it in with Vladdy Guerrero, that tubagoo? Hey, you think I want to root for that guy after he was taking the Waz, as they say overseas, taking the Waz on the Yankees? Get out of here.
Come on. I think that mindset doesn't vibe with me, but there are plenty of people that say, well, at least that means we lost to the best. I don't get with that.
Yeah, I don't get with that either.
I'm a little spiteful
Unless
where I'm
like,
like,
a likable team or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and you should have stepped up and beat the best before they could have advanced.
Yeah, I like the style of ball, the style of play, the heart, the contact, the never giving up in that bat, slapping foul ball after foul ball, working the count, working the pitcher. I love that about the Blue Jays. I just don't like them. I'm an American League East fan. There's no way I'm rooting for the Blue Jays. So, again, guys, what do you do in these situations?
Anti-Canadian.
Do you have a formula, or does it happen organically the way Byer described?
Well, Dan Byer described something we've talked about for years, which I'm great. I'm so glad he said that, because there have been so many times where you are watching a fight. Fighting is the best example where, I don't got a horse in this race. By like the 6th round, you're like, oh, I want this guy. Yeah. Can I tell you there's two other
instances?
You
like his attitude or his heart or his fire. You made your mind up.
There's 2 other instances where I feel like this is very present. One's a little more controversial than the other. I feel like in dating, when you see like a reality show, I know it's a reality show, so relax. But when a guy's choosing between 2 women, or a woman's choosing between a couple dudes on The Bachelorette, there's got to come a point where you're like, I like them both. But something's going to happen along the way where you're like, all right, now that's the one. There's something will happen along the way when you're in a love triangle. And I think about this in politics. There's plenty of people that love to say, hey, I'm down the middle. I'm not Democrat or Republican. On election night, your true feelings come out, because when someone's leading, you're either like, oh, or
you're still making a choice.
Yeah, you're making a choice, because on election night, I guarantee you might have said, I'm lukewarm. I don't love or hate Donald Trump. Who knows? I guarantee on election night, when results start coming back in, you have an opinion.
I like the underdog stories. I like the unexpected. But I'll make that choice maybe tonight. Phillies at Dodgers, Brewers at Cubs, and, of course, you got your Thursday night football, Eagles, Giants. And I will tell you this, Rich. From a professional standpoint, guys like DB, especially guys like DB, he's your update guy. He's the guy that has to know. Covino and Rich, the show's here. We have to keep an eye on what's going on, right? And plus, it's fun for us. But where does the rooting interest really go here? The game I got my eye on the most, by far, is going to be Brewers-Cubs. The excitement we saw yesterday, the fire we saw yesterday, the storyline we've heard all year about the Brewers, like, are they the real deal? They deserve it. Let this team win. Let's see what happens. Let's show the world that it doesn't have to be a giant market that takes it all.
Yeah.
Like the good old-fashioned baseball prevails, and that's where the game should be heading toward. And I think that baseball could need that. So I'll be watching that game to see if I could organically now say, yeah, I'm pulling for the Brew Crew. Let's go.
I'll also say this, that I think Covino's in a unique situation where, so the Mets lose, so Rich turns his attention to the 49ers. You don't have an NFL team.
I don't have a team.
Yes.
I don't claim a team, right?
Correct.
So that's also a very interesting situation. I actually thought about that. You know why? Because a lot of people hit me up last night. Sorry about your team, man. And I think a lot of people think I take it harder than I do because it's my only team.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yeah.
really true.
I have New York buddies. Dan, it's so funny you would say that. I have New York friends that are like, all right,
very true.
Mets let us down. Onto the Rangers and the Knicks.
Yeah.
Because basketball and hockey are on the horizon. So there's something to be said about that.
Yeah, I feel like I'm all alone now.
Dan Byer, are you
in the mist?
Would you be inclined to, if they both advance, would you want to go Brewers Dodgers out here? Go check it out live, or is that something you like chilling at home for?
I'd probably chill at home for. Yeah, and they played in, what was it, 2018?
Yeah.
I had a buddy who asked me, said I may be able to get tickets. And I was like, yeah, I'll go. And then I don't know if I really loved the idea. And then he said, I don't have a ticket for you. So then I was like, oh, I absolutely want to go.
Yes, exactly.
But how could you not root for a team that's never won a World Series? They made it, what, in the 80s, 82?
1982, yeah.
Cardinals
Against
or
the
whatever.
Cardinals.
So that's the only team, and that was what? Like, was that even Robin Yount era?
Yeah, it was,
82?
yeah.
Okay, so it was Robin Yount
Molitor.
era, early Paul Molitor era of the Brewers. They haven't seen the World Series since then. So the storyline alone is intriguing. What pulls you in?
You want to get more pulled in? Watch, Google this. We'll look up the speech that Yelich gave to the
I love
gave
that
to
dude.
the team. in
I
the locker
love
room.
that guy. I think he's a great dude. I think he's a great comeback story. He has a hot mom. We've met him. We've interviewed him. He's a likable guy.
Yeah, he is.
I've always also felt that this is unfair because and I've said this on the show, I'm very unfair to the Minnesota Twins because they won 2 World Series titles right when I was in the prime of loving sports. Like
Yeah.
I remember World Series prior to that, but when you're really grasping it was 1987. I would have been 10 at the time. Then they win again in 1991.
Yeah.
I think the same thing with the Blue Jays. Like I think the Blue Jays are a great story, but there was a
But
time in the late
you're
80s.
thinking like back to back. Come on.
Yes, exactly. The early 90s where they were the team that
Touch them all, Joe.
not only you couldn't beat, but they would get the best players. Now, the Brewers didn't treat Paul Molitor great on the way out, so he goes to Toronto and wins, and maybe that would be a reason. But there were times where the Brewers were battling in the AL East with Toronto. Like, Toronto was a hated team to me. I didn't like the Blue Jays.
Blue Jays had a slew of big names.
It's
Yes.
over 30 years ago. It doesn't feel like it, but it's over 30 years ago. Touch them all, Joe. They go get Ricky Henderson. They get Roger Clemens.
Yeah.
That's a different world.
There's one more
Yeah.
Kadeem Hardison style.
Yeah.
Kadeem Hardison style, different world. But there's one more layer to this question, and we'll leave it to you, Fox Sports Radio Nation. If you're one of those, my team's out, so I tune out. But how about players? We mentioned Yelich, right? Good dude. He's been the face of this organization now for a long time. But on the flip side, what about guys like Bryce Harper, man? Like that guy, you're not rooting for a player like him?
Bryce never won. Keep in mind,
Ball
he left.
player, like
Bryce
such
left.
a baller. He knows ball. You
Bryce
wouldn't want to
left DC, and then that's when the Nationals won. So Bryce is still looking
if
for
you're
his.
not rooting for teams, and we're using the term rooting loosely because we're not saying all of a sudden you change an alliance or an allegiance to a team. We're saying just for the fun of watching, does your interest then turn to the players if you're so against teams? Because, I do watch football in that way. I root for certain players. So maybe players is the answer here, but I'll tell you what. I'll make that choice tonight. My eye is on the Brewers-Cubs. We'll see what happens. And enjoy it. If your team's still in it, enjoy it. Mine's not. And
I do think
that's it.
Dan Byer made a great point. You not having an NFL team that you really claim as your own keeps you a little more locked in because I will say once the Mets were
You can shift
eliminated,
focus, yeah.
it was like, all right, I'm watching, but now like my main attention goes towards the Niners.
And my teenagers do this a lot in the NBA. They have favorite players like Steph, and so they'll be cheering during a Warriors game, but they're Laker fans. So this generation right now, they follow different NBA players. And DB, I know there's some NBA news you wanted to hit. Real quick.
Yes,
Speaking
we have
of,
my breaking news sounder, guys.
Let's hear it.
Breaking news from Fox Sports.
A report from ESPN says Lakers forward LeBron James will miss the next 3 to 4 weeks of action because of sciatica on his right side.
That's old guy stuff.
Yes.
That's your back, right?
My sciatic is acting up.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, man, that's
Maybe it's from
40-year-old guy
driving,
problem.
right?
That's 40-something-year-old guy problems. That's not young guy problems.
It's from hoisting Hennessy.
Have we ever seen sciatica in the parentheses of a athlete before?
Yeah, George Blanda. And there was a old report there.
Gordie Howe out
was,
tonight.
Who was it? Not Vita Blue. Who pitched? Satchel Paige. Didn't he pitch, they say, like, till he was way older than they thought? So
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen sciatic in quite a bit.
LeBron's
Thank
so
you.
old, he's playing in Rockports this season. Yeah, he's playing in old guy shoes.
You see the
He's
new
playing-
LeBrons?
yeah.
The Lakers have a dish of Werthers at the end of the scores table this year. It's brand new.
That's so funny, dude.
man.
Yeah, that's, you know what, Danny G, that sucks though for Lakers fans. It does. And especially when you're hearing all this other nonsense about Amazon Prime Day and he's promoting Hennessy and he's got his decision. It's like, yo, dude, you're not even playing. That's a letdown.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he can't control that, but that is sort of a downer for anybody pumped about the season coming up in a few weeks.
By the way, Rich, Satchel Paige was 59 years old.
Oh, man.
Yes. So,
When he
yeah.
played his last season.
Yeah, he doesn't throw out powder anymore. It's Metamucil.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good one. I like that.
So, hey,
The question, guys, your team is out. Do you tune out? What's your rooting interest just to keep an eye on the game moving forward? I like the underdog story, but I can't force that to happen. When I say underdog, I mean the team that never won, the Brewers.
what about the Mariners?
Mariners have never even been to a World Series.
I've never.
There's a lot of
I'm
great
leaning. Look,
storylines.
yeah, there's a lot of great storylines, a lot of great teams.
I know why you don't want the Mariners, and I'll tell you why. I
still
know
think
the
back-
postseason doesn't matter with MVP voting, but I made the analogy. You know when someone's in court and someone on the witness stand says some crazy stuff, and the judge says, "Oh, strike that from the record," but you're like, "Yeah, but we heard it." I know voting for MVP, doesn't count the postseason, but if you see Cal Raleigh keep going, it's going to be in all the voters' heads. So you want Cal Raleigh out.
That's part of it. Also, I'd rather choose an NL team, get the AL team out
I
of
hear
here
you. Okay, that's
as
cool.
an AL fan.
Makes
so
sense.
now we get to your phone calls. And remember, Old School Win 50 Hits. We do it every Thursday. Let's just say we're going to talk old school television. So start thinking about it. We'll talk some Thursday Night Football and more right here on the Covino and Rich Show.
All right, now if you're looking for a new way to hire and manage your workforce, Express Employment Pros makes it easy. Forget about posting jobs, sifting through resumes, being ghosted, and interviews with unqualified applicants. Move up to the pros with expresspros.com.
Express is your full-service workforce solution connecting you with top talent fast. Every day, Express recruits and screens a variety of workers in your area, so when it's time to hire, they have the talent you need ready to go to work. I think the Yankees should hit up Express Pros to find a new shortstop.
We'll see what happens. Contract workforce through Express can help you manage contingent labor costs and provide the people you need to meet your current demands. And if you need full-time employees, Express can recruit for you. Express Employment Pros helps tens of thousands of companies find workers, saving businesses time and increasing flexibility.
Find the nearest location at expresspros.com. Each of the 870 Express locations are locally owned and operated, backed by the support of international headquarters. Listen, hiring stressful, stop the hassle. Partner with Express. Go to expresspros.com. Find a location near you. Have you ever been done dirty in a pic? Well, the 76ers did Jared McCain dirty in a picture that went viral because he's sitting there posing in front of a bench press, but on that bench press are 2.5-pound weights. Look at this, 2.5-pound weights. So that's a total of 50 pounds. 45-pound bar, 5 pounds, 50 pounds. He's benching 50 pounds. The only guy I know that lifts less than that is this guy, Rich Davis, and his Pee Wee Herman workout. But it got us thinking of other pics where athletes got done dirty. Oh. And the first one that comes to mind is the Tom Brady Combine. Because this one just never stopped showing up. Well, haunted him his whole career.
It's not so much that he looks bad. He just looks like an average fella. But it's Tom Brady, the studliest,
it was
winning men.
Look how far he's come from that. He's sitting there in his boxer shorts, all pale. Just like our next one, which I find to be the ultimate disrespect because I think it diminishes our GOATs like Tom Brady, and that's the Michael Jordan cry face. Michael Jordan, they did him so dirty with that cry face everywhere, all over social media. Poor Michael Jordan.
And he acknowledges it because at the late, great Kobe Bryant's service, he said, I'm going to try to keep my stuff together. I'm going to try to keep my shit together because I don't need another cry face.
Yeah.
So he knows it's out there.
Another time where an athlete got done dirty is your boy. And I loved it, though. I loved it. Your boy.
Who's my boy?
Juan Soto.
Dude, this was a bad angle. Juan Soto is not a fatso.
You remember when Juan Soto was putting on the Mets jersey and he was there and he was like 6 months pregnant? Remember that? I loved that as a Yankees fan at the time.
He just had a big lunch. He went to Carmine's.
I could be he. I could be he.
He had some street meat.
He was just at the Shake Shack. But it makes me think of Patrick Mahomes too because it's always, look how soft he is. He's the GOAT. He's the guy.
Bod. He's got the dad bod.
He became the poster boy for dad bods everywhere because he's not as ripped as you would think he is.
Well, again, if you watch Quarterback.
Man, you guys did me dirty.
If you watch Quarterback on Netflix, you realize he's so pliable and flexible. And
Pliable?
No, he does.
Clay?
But if you've seen his workout, it has nothing to do with weight training. He is bending in all weird positions so that he could get crushed by, like a Max Crosby and survive. So
yeah, it doesn't affect his gameplay by any means. It doesn't matter, but unflattering and it goes viral.
Yeah.
And there's one picture for me in particular, Rich, where it's haunted me for the past, how long have we been here in California now?
10 years.
For 10 years. Now, there's a random story, but our very first broadcast.
Sounds like a name drop, too, by the way.
It does. But our very first broadcast, it's not bragging if it's true, here in Los Angeles was at Henry Winkler's house. Much like he said to Patrick Mahomes, you have a spot at my table. Remember he said that to Mahomes?
And we took him up on it.
And Mahomes was like, oh, man, better believe it, Fonz, I'll be there. He said that to us. When you guys get to California, you could broadcast at my home. And we did. And he served us bagels and lox and food, and they snapped a picture. And I looked like an extra of The Sopranos. I look like Bobby Bacalao. I don't know what happened in this photo.
Do you have gabagool in your cheeks? Did you shove some?
It was a long road trip of partying and drinking and debauchery. I was bloated. I don't know what was going on there. And then not only was this a terrible photo.
It's the photo that keeps on giving because the more you look at it, the more you see.
But I got done dirty in that photo. I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't looking. I turned around, snap.
All right, when you talk about getting done dirty, then I think I might win because we had the legend Dee Snider, Twisted Sister, on our show. Someone said, are we smiling or are we doing rock horns? And someone goes, we're smiling. So I was like, all right, let me get ready to do my cheesy smile. And then someone else goes, no. Rock horns. It's Dee Snider. You're rocking out.
I could be here, Big Papi. Oh, the Yankees lose. Ho. Hey. Dale.
You know what I say?
It's my guy. Orale, it's my guy. Guerrero, way to go. I could be here. Shut up, Papi.
Dale. Yankee lose.
Never seen a guy so not care but care at the same time. Steve Covino over here. Danny G, I don't know who's crying more. Edmund on Love is Blind or Steve Covino?
You're going to compare me to that guy on Love is Blind? Get out of here. But I will say this.
Why won't you get with me?
Did not be holding them cheeks then.
That FS1 broadcast needs Poppy because he brings the fun, but that's disrespectful to all the fans, to Jeter, to A-Rod.
Oh, come on. They were laughing.
It's not. It's like that's rubbing it in, man.
Jeter wasn't.
Get out of here.
Dude, why are you
Big Poppy.
you're such a lame-o.
Get out of here.
I mean, honestly,
if
the Yankees had won and all of a sudden, I don't know.
Freaking sombreros on. Get out of here.
I think it's fun.
Get out of here. I see you in Cancun. Ah, ha, 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 Big Poppy. Get out of my face. So
I'm glad you're over it.
we're Covino and Rich, live from the Fox Sports Radio studio. And 2 reminders. We're going to do old school when 50 hits. So in 20 minutes, we throw it back and reminisce. We're going to talk some TV. We'll explain. So start thinking of some old school. Let's say start thinking of some edgy shows you grew up with. Edgy shows you grew up with.
Think of how many Yankee fans drove home to their mom's basement last night sad.
See? Low blows.
No, what? I'm just...
And
Mom, my laundry!
whatever we don't fit into today's show is going to be on Overpromised. A brand new episode drops today. YouTube.com/Covino and Rich FSR. Join us live at 4 on the West, 7 on the East. Overpromised, episode 112, Peaches and Cream, 112 today. Man. I can tell you this. We're going to talk, is it cheating? Because today's an anniversary of cheaters. Is it cheating? We're going to go over the new rules of cheating and who might be ass. I don't think there's any surprise, but you'll find out on Overpromised later today.
All right, let's go to our pal Dan Byer for an update. Let's see what's going on. DB.
Hey, DB.
Guys, the breaking news is that LeBron James is going to miss the start of the regular season for the Lakers as the forward is dealing with sciatica on his right side. The timetable put out by ESPN is that it's a 3 to 4 week injury. 3 weeks from today is the day before Halloween, which would mean LeBron would miss the first 5 games of the season. Best case scenario if we are going by that timetable. Heat head coach Eric Spoelstra will take over as the head coach of USA men's basketball as they get ready for the World Cup in 2027 and the 2028 Olympics here in Los Angeles, while the annual survey by NBA.com of the league's general managers, 80% of them picked the Thunder to win the NBA title this season, going back-to-back. Dodgers trying to go back-to-back in baseball. They got a game 4 tonight against the Phils, 6 o'clock Eastern time. Harrison Bader not in the lineup for the Phillies. Dodgers replaced Tanner Scott. He's out of the NLDS roster, off of that roster, and now ineligible to be on the NLCS roster. He's been replaced by Justin Robleski. Brewers and Cubs, 9 Eastern time. Brewers up 2-1 in that series. Former Red Sox outfielder Mike Greenwell died. Battled cancer, passed away at the age of 62. Yeah,
That's wild.
Some sad news there. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson missed another practice today because of a strained hamstring. Also no practice for Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray, and Brock Purdy not spotted at practice for the Niners. Patriots corner Christian Gonzalez limited in practice with his hamstring injury. Eagles and Giants start week 6 tonight, 8:15 Eastern time. Eagles may not have Jalen Carter. They've elevated defensive lineman Gabe Hall. Carter's dealing with a heel injury. Nakobe Dean will play for Philadelphia, activated from the PUP list, so the linebacker expected to return tonight. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Dan Byer, and rest in peace, Mike Greenwell.
Yeah,
That's
such a
blast from the
legendary
past.
Red Sox.
Legendary Red Sox in that Ellis Burks era of baseball card collecting. And
how many Mike Greenwells did you have?
For real. And, here's a fun fact that could be true. One of those things that I never heard until recently, but I read somewhere, and it was probably a meme, so it has to be true.
What, that we all counted way too much on our Todd Van Poppel cards to be worth something?
No, that Mike Greenwell and Don Mattingly were cousins.
Really? Was that in the same rumor?
Know.
Was that in the same rumor mill that Leaping Lanny Poffo and Macho Man were brothers, and they were?
But they were brothers. Yeah, they were brothers. They still are, I guess. But rest in peace, Mike Greenwell. Definitely one of those legendary late 80s, early 90s big names for the Red Sox.
As we get closer to the NBA, we are going to take your phone calls on the rooting interest. I had a question for Dan Byer as we do get closer to the NBA. Is this the year with a lot of young talent now? Do you think the Spurs take a big step forward?
By the way, they are not cousins, but it is a rumor.
Oh, okay.
Simply 2 former Major League Baseball players who played in the same era. But
it says here they're related through family connections.
That's, so I knew I
like how all Italian people call people their cousin. When it's just like a neighbor?
Kind of. Yeah, but they had that connection. I never knew that even as a Yankees fan.
It's my uncle. Is it your uncle or your dad's friend? Yeah, my dad's friend, but we call him Uncle Richie. Is this the year, guys, that the Spurs take a big step forward? I feel like it might be. I mean, I know they're still very young, but now that Wemby's 7'5", and they had a lot of draft equity. Is this the year?
Yeah, they're the second overall pick. They took Dylan Harper with that pick in the past draft. They acquired De'Aaron Fox last year. In most cases, I would say yes. Like, you expect them to maybe make that Oklahoma City sort of rise. But again, the West is just so loaded.
Yeah.
Like, how high can you go? Maybe because of fresh legs and other teams aren't as interested in getting a top seed.
Like a 4 or 5 seed you're trying to slip in. I mean.
Sure. And they may, who knows, they may win 60 games and be right there with Oklahoma City. I just don't know how urgent some of the other teams are going to be early on in the season, like the Mavericks.
Yeah.
You don't have Kyrie Irving. You're breaking in Cooper Flag at that point.
Man, that's another great storyline. I think this year, we got to give credit where credit's due. We talk about baseball's popping. I think the NBA is going to have some really interesting storylines this year.
There's a realistic chance that San Antonio could. Just at the default again of what I'm saying is I don't know if the regular season matters to the other teams when it comes to seeding, but because they're so young, it may be something that could help them moving on. But I think other teams are more just trying to jockey for position for the second half of the year than going into the playoffs.
I think if Wemby takes my plan of the 3-point finger roll, then they definitely got a shot.
Then they're golden.
Yeah.
All right, a couple quick phone calls. When your team's out of it in any sport, what then becomes your answer? Essentially, now what?
Your rooting interest.
Yeah.
Do you tune out, or do you pick players, or do you find an underdog story that resonates with you?
Or the other option, like Dan Beyer said, if you're into other sports, is that your cue to transition to something else? Like, my team's out of it. All right, football. All right, NBA's almost here. Hockey's almost here. Like, what is your move? Let's go to Boise and Tyler. Hey, Tyler.
Going, guys.
What's up, man? What's your move here? What do you do?
So, as a Bills fan, lifelong Bills and Mariners guy, it's been brutal. And
you're living good now. I was gonna say Bills and Mariners. You're having your moment.
Finally. But as that, usually baseball's over in August and football season starts in August. But this year, I gotta say, Mariners never ever making the World Series. Definitely pulling for them as a fan. But I think people that aren't fans can lean that direction. And then as far as the other, I'd be Bills, Lions, Super Bowl, and maybe like a series with the Mariners and the Brewers would be pretty sweet.
I think that is the number one answer. If we were playing Family Feud and Steve Harvey came out with his big mustache, I think the number one answer on the board would be people root for the team that perhaps the franchise has never won. That's always the answer.
That's
really,
where
right?
that's where my heart goes.
Yeah,
Like,
so
give them one.
It's
Let them be happy about something.
He's right, because remember last year, everyone's number one answer was, come on, Lions and Bills.
Yeah.
And I think the answer now would really be Brewers, Mariners would be.
Do you remember what I said, too? The ultimate fantasy. Josh Allen hoists the trophy, and he thanks all the fans that were there in the 90s. And hey, Jim Kelly and Scott Norwood, you guys are forgiven. And then, hey, you do it for everybody.
That's your ultimate
Make an
fantasy?
AI video out
I'm
of it.
saying, like, if your team's out of
I know,
it,
yeah.
you're rooting for the people that sort of, I don't know, not deserve it, but that have been waiting for
We
it.
talked about it when the Cubs finally won. There were grandparents where people were like, I'm so happy my grandfather lasted long enough to see this.
Yeah,
and other
exactly.
people's grandparents died just before they won.
So one more phone call on
That's
your
going to
rooting
happen.
interest.
I feel like that's going to happen to me. I feel like the Mets are going to go on a 100-year streak of not winning the World Series, and it'll be like a 90-something-year-old guy like, come on, let's go Metsies.
Well,
and
then
all of a sudden,
proves
I'm going to die at 98 years old in September, a month before the World
thought
Series.
in theory that you've always been the bad luck charm to the Mets. You've always been their mush.
They might send a hitman after Rich.
Wrap it up with who do we got here in
that's-
He
Seattle?
said he's the governor.
The
governor in Seattle. What's going on, man? I got nothing against your Mariners. I remember battling your Mariners in '95.
Though you did say their home run celebration is lame, I think it's cool with the trident.
I don't like any of those celebrations.
What's
so
up,
it's nothing
Seattle?
personal.
Hey, a little background real quick. I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, spent the first 14 years of my life there, and then my dad dragged me out to Seattle. So I root for all teams Detroit. So it kind of tears our family apart. All my kids are Seattle fans, whether it's football, whether it's baseball,
Yep.
whether it's even hockey with Kraken. But my take is, once a Detroit team is out, I stop rooting. I just stop watching the games. I can't get into it if my team's not there. So big game tomorrow night. Let's go Tigers. And I wanted to say, I love your guys' show. I usually only catch the last hour, but the government shutdown has me on vacation right now, so I'm getting to listen to you all day. And keep up the great work, fellas.
Thanks, man. Hopefully everything works out with your job, and we appreciate it, brother. But you know what? If the Mariners do beat your Tigers, your kids will be happy. Look at it that way, right?
Yeah, so that's a win-win.
Someone will be happy, right?
Thanks again. I appreciate the call, and thank you, Fox Sports Radio Nation, for hearing us out. Now, next, we do something called Old School. When 50 hits, we do it every Thursday. We throw it back and reminisce. And let's just say today's an anniversary. We'll fill you in on everything when we get back. But something started today, changed today. Changed how we watch TV, changed our expectations. It changed how your parents monitored you and what you were viewing.
Yeah, that's true.
So start thinking about edgy programming. Ooh. The edgy, naughty things you watched as a kid growing up. What stands out? What are some of your memories there? And we'll get you involved next. 877-99 on Fox is Covino and Rich on Fox Sports Radio.
But we got to talk about Bad Bunny because, my goodness, the social media reaction. Danny G, I was watching, just like you, Sunday Night Football, and they so casually, like Mike Tirico.
Yeah.
Like, I did not know this was coming. Tirico's like, and coming up next, we're going to find out who the halftime show is. And I'm like, oh, damn. Like, Tirico was just holding that in his pocket, huh? And there he is, Bad Bunny, sitting on a goalpost with a straw hat. And everyone's like, wait, what? Bad Bunny?
He was carrying a golf bag, too. It was weird.
Bad Bunny,
He's
otherwise
still caddying for Happy Gilmore.
Otherwise known as Happy Gilmore's caddy, is an international superstar. Let's not be naive, but let's not also make it seem like everyone knows Bad Bunny. It's a very interesting choice by Jay-Z, Roger Goodell in the NFL. I think we could say interesting choice. Now, here's my thought. My initial thought was, what about Taylor Swift? Because we had all those little breadcrumbs, those Easter eggs of sourdough and 60 and all this. Like, ooh, Super Bowl 60. And then Metallica. And then you heard rumors last week like Adele. And then we were all thinking, oh, she's too slow. Like, she's got a great voice and great songs, but not Adele. And then you heard Post Malone. And then over the weekend, there were internet rumors that Miley's close to signing the contract. I had not heard. Am I wrong by saying no one else heard Bad Bunny's name even in the conversation?
They kept it under wraps.
That was the most like under wraps anything's been kept because I didn't hear a thing, a peep about Bad Bunny. Now, let me tell you, when Covino and I worked over at ESPN, we worked very closely with a lot of the people that work for ESPN Deportes. To say that Bad Bunny is a superstar is an understatement. You just must not have many Latino friends or know anyone that speaks Spanish. This guy's an international star. But here's the question. Is it the right act for the Super Bowl? 877-99 on Fox. If you want to chime in, that's one of our things that made you go, week 4. I look at it this way. We often neglect to realize when something's not meant for us, right? Let's say you're let's be honest, middle-aged white guy who loves football and you're going to watch no matter what. They got you hooked. You're watching the Super Bowl and everything involved with the NFL playoffs. You're watching Mondays, Thursdays, Sundays, Sunday nights. You're locked in. They got you. They don't need to get you anymore. So it's very clear that last year with Kendrick Lamar and this year with Bad Bunny, they are shooting younger. They're going for different ethnic backgrounds. They're going global. The NFL playing games in Ireland and Spain and Mexico. The game's expanding. The fan base is trying to expand. So Bad Bunny, to me, is just a clear indication that, you're not the demo they're going after. You're locked in, middle-aged white guy. And I'm in that group. If they wanted middle-aged white guy, if they wanted to super serve the 40 to 60-year-old dude, Metallica is the answer. But they're going after the younger generation. So this is definitely a pick for the younger people. And, hey, you know what? I think it is funny how we overanalyze what's going to end up being 15 to 20 minutes of your life 6 months from now. I think we'll be okay. I think it'll be fun. Bad Bunny, there's going to be hot dancers. He's going to put on a show. You just may not understand anything he says. But you know what? Hey, you have a few months to do some Rosetta Stone. Learn a little more Spanish if you're too worried about it.
You know what's funny about our conversation yesterday about razzing? Like, people love to lean into, like, Yankee Stadium, Spirit Halloween now. If you go to my social media page, like my Facebook page too, you see all these people like, hey, Yankees released their City Connect jerseys. It's like a trash can. Like, yeah, all right. Only one team wins, so shut your pie hole. If it's not your team, then shut up.
What stage of grief is this spot? What is he doing now?
But it's true. Only one team wins.
Anger or bargaining?
By bargaining. He's bargaining.
Only
the reasoning
one
phase.
team
Oh, this is bargaining.
wins,
Yeah, only one
guys.
team wins. Bargaining.
Only one team wins, so I guess it's not too bad. Oh.
No. I think it's a failure. I'm embarrassed by the Yankees. I'm disgusted, in fact. I think they stink. They deserve to lose. I love the game that the Blue Jays play. I just don't like them.
All right.
But only one team wins. Relax. Slow your roll. And I can't wait to see who it is.
To make you not suffer anymore, let's do our Tire Rack Play of the Day
and
live.
I didn't pick a Yankees clip.
Yeah, live from the Fox Sports Radio studio. It's time for our Play of the Day. And Danny, you could cover your ears for this one. Schwarber hitting bombs.
He's from the right side. That ball's crushed deep to right field. Hernandez doesn't even move. It is long gone. It's off the roof of the pavilion in right field.
Jeez.
Kyle Schwarber. And with a lightning strike, the Phillies tie it up at 1.
A moonshot.
Well, in about 20 minutes or so, Game 4 going to get going at Dodger Stadium. That was courtesy of Phillies Radio Network. Tire Rack Play of the Day, and for over 40 years, Tire Rack's been helping customers find the right tires for how, what, and where they drive.
Ship fast and free, backed by free road hazard protection with convenient installation options like mobile tire installation. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. And we do it every Thursday. We're a little early, but that's nice, right?
You guys are 1 minute early for this?
Yeah, holy moly. But should I just
alert all the affiliates?
Should I just speak real slow for a minute? No, let's do it.
It's like that rare occasion where you're actually early with your wife for a dinner reservation. Like, we're here for the 7 o'clock? Sir, it's 6:55. Oh.
Well, like I said, something happened on this day in 1986. We called it the fourth TV network back in 86. We call it old school when 50 hits. Let's do it.
There's a certain...
Yeah!
What we gonna do right here is go back. Back into time.
Throwing it back for a Thursday. Old school when 50 hits. At 50 after, CNR give you the time capsule topic, and we reminisce together.
All right, taking you back to when you were a little pumpkin pie haircutted freak in your corduroys who were wearing your parachute pants.
Well, can I give you a little perspective? What was going on this day in '86 besides what you're going to get to? This is when the Mets were in the National League Championship against Mike Scott. Remember how unhittable he was?
Yeah.
The legend of Mike Scott
This is
in
before
'86.
you cursed the team?
Yeah, this is before I cursed the Mets, and today was the day Phantom of the Opera opened on Broadway. So Andrew Lloyd Webber. So we're talking a long time ago. The 80s feel like yesterday, but man, coming up on 40 years.
I was born that year.
86, Sam, huh?
Yep.
Look at that.
Media changed forever that day.
The world changed forever because Iowa Sam was born. On this day in 1986, Fox debuted as TV's fourth major network after NBC, CBS, and ABC. And when you think back to the early Fox days, you think about them trying to find their place on the dial.
Now, it was a couple of years until the main shows really came out. Fox just sort of launched on this day, but when you think of those early days of Fox when they really became a player.
They had to cut out their own lane.
Yeah, they really did.
Fox operated differently than the other three in that only 3 hours of the day were dedicated to the network. It had a rocky start, but Fox became the most watched network during 2007-2008. In 2019, the network was acquired by the Disney company. So that's the history, but it started 86 on this day. But if you think back to then, they had to differentiate themselves from everybody else. And the way they did that was with edgy programming.
And just for the record, people love to be like, oh, you guys are affiliated with... No, Fox Sports Radio, just for the record, no affiliation with Fox News, Fox Sports 1, or like NFL on Fox.
It's like how Mattingly and Greenwell are cousins.
Yeah, like there's no real affiliation other than the name and the brand,
They're
right?
like distant cousins.
Yeah, distant
I have a question.
cousins.
How does one in the 80s carve out, like, we want to be a network channel? That seems like that's like bedrock stuff. Like, how do you even get to become a network channel?
Sort of the Wild West, I guess. If
Yeah,
you had
you-
enough money to do it, I
Sam,
guess you did.
it was really interesting.
up for grabs.
And I'm not trying to, I'm being serious when I say when you were a kid, before cable TV was in every household and streaming, we all remember back, you'd flip the TV channels on on the actual
What was
TV.
it for you guys? What was Fox for you guys?
Fox 5.
Fox
So
5.
for us, it was 8.
Yeah,
Out
so-
here, it's 11.
It was Fox 5 New York. And I remember, CBS was 2, NBC
Yep.
was 4. And
Oh,
no matter what,
NBC for us was 7.
whatever city you lived in, they were missing channels. Like, remember 3 was nothing because 3 is what you put your TV on for VCRs and stuff?
Yeah, the
So they
aux.
were missing channels. So I guess Fox just found a way in different markets to fill that niche.
We didn't have a Fox affiliate for years, and so some of that programming, like Beverly Hills 90210 at some point, had to be aired at midnight on a Saturday night or Sunday morning. And then when the NFL got the package, we still didn't have a Fox affiliate, so they had to figure out a way to put Packer games on.
Dang.
And they ended up being on the ABC affiliate.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Fox, again, carving its own lane as a little edgy, did their whole Tracy Ullman thing, which spawned the Simpsons, and they were pushing the envelope because they were edgy, and Bart was talking back to his parents. Like,
Eat
oh
my
my
shorts.
God.
Huge
So that was
hit.
considered
Married with
edgy.
Children.
That was the other one.
Yep.
Married with Children was way
And
edgy.
let
for
me
the
hit you
time.
with one more. In Living Color.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Well,
you're
raise your
talking
hand
about-
if your mom ever said, I don't know about this Married with Children show.
Oh, without
Not
a doubt.
sure you should be watching this, and she'd make us turn the channel.
Oh,
Yeah, it was borderline inappropriate, especially for back then.
It was my dad's favorite show, and he was like, yeah, you let me watch with him. So yeah, but it was definitely edgy. Married with Children was definitely pushing the envelope. You said this. I remember getting in trouble in school, Danny, because I wore a "I'm Bart Simpson, who the hell are you" shirt. I had to turn it inside out.
Yeah.
Al Bundy went to, what strip club did he go to? The Jiggly Room?
When can we go there?
Hooters,
Yum, yum, yum.
Right? So way inappropriate. Based on Fox launching on this day in 86, what other cartoons, radio shows, movies, shows, what were
Anything.
considered edgy back when you were little that you remember sneaking when, I don't know, the parents went to bed?
You know, my wife, her mom wouldn't let her watch MTV or VH1 or anything and thought it was all like the devil.
VH1 is the devil!
Like she was the water boy mom.
Right. So, what were the edgy things you tuned into when the parents left the house, or I don't know, when it was late at night?
Maybe too violent.
It takes me back to the Skinamax days, too, to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
staying up late. All right, so your phone calls next. Old School 150 hits right here on Fox Sports Radio.
Covino Rich.
All right, so the Ravens, they're not quite there yet. But you know who might be ass? Rob Lowe. Now, I got to say, I've loved Rob Lowe for a long time, since the Outsider days.
I still love Rob Lowe.
But he's getting a lot of heat this week. Remember his NFL picture where he's wearing that NFL hat?
And everyone's like, where's the alliance? You have a fan of Roger Goodell? He had the NFL hat, and people gave him so much shit for that.
I feel like he has a problem with alliance. I really do. I feel like he's a torn guy. And he's like, I don't know who I should represent. So I guess I'll just represent the NFL. Well, I guess he should also just represent the MLB. Because he's an Ohio kid, and people are giving him a lot of heat for not representing because he was wearing Dodgers gear. But then again...
By the way, who'd they focus on more this series so far? Him or Jason Bateman?
Oh, I know, right?
It's like, geez, we get it. Jason Bateman's there and Rob Lowe's there. Any other handsome middle-aged guys?
But to be fair, is there anyone more LA and Hollywood than Rob Lowe?
You mean Dodger fan Rob Lowe?
Yeah, but it's been known that he's a Cincinnati Red sort of guy.
But you live in a city long enough, I wonder if there is a time where it's like, I'm not saying change your alliance, but I'm coming to grips with the fact that my kids might like the Dodgers. I'm a big Mets fan, as you know, but my kids are like, Dad, Mookie and Freddie and Ohtani. I'm like, they go to school in LA. All their friends are Dodgers fans. So I don't know, maybe Rob Lowe, he's out here long enough. His kids.
But here's the thing. Don't be wishy-washy. Make a choice. Are you an Ohio kid who likes the Reds, grow up with the Reds, or are you a Dodgers guy? Right? Because otherwise, you just might be ass because he's getting a lot of criticism. And it hurts my heart as a Rob Lowe fan.
I love Rob Lowe, but guess what?
He's a treasure.
Might be ass.
Sorry, are you a Reds fan or a Dodgers fan? Because the world's confused. Maybe you're just a baseball fan.
Sorry, Rob Lowe.
You might be ass this week.
You might be ass this week. It's a huge honor.
Every week, someone has this honor. Rob Lowe, congrats.
Congratulations.
Good one.
About to get underway in Game 4 of the National League Divisional Series between the Phillies and Dodgers. Dodgers up 2-1 in the best-of-5 matchup. Harrison Bader out of the lineup again for Philadelphia. Later on tonight in Chicago, it's the Brewers and Cubs, 9 o'clock Eastern in their Game 4. Brewers up 2-1 in the series. A report from ESPN says Los Angeles Lakers forward LeBron James is going to miss the first 3 to 4 weeks, or the next 3 to 4 weeks, that is, because of sciatica on his right side. It would rule LeBron out of their season opener in less than 2 weeks against the Golden State Warriors. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson missed another practice today. Same with Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray. And 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy was not spotted on the practice field today. Panthers running back Chuba Hubbard missed another practice with a calf injury that forced him to miss Week 5. Week 6 starts tonight. Eagles and Giants, 8:15 Eastern Time. Eagles defensive lineman Jalen Carter is considered questionable with a heel injury. The team did elevate defensive lineman Gabe Hall. I'm Dan Byer.
Thank you.
Hey, while it's still relevant, can we just hear from Vladdy Guerrero one more time?
Dale. The Yankee lose.
I'm sorry, dude.
The Yankee.
Good one.
Sorry, bro.
Whatever. Broadcasted live from the Fox Sports Radio studios. Remember, with the iHeartRadio app, you can stream us wherever you happen to be. Catch us live on the Fox Sports Radio app 24/7. iHeartRadio app, Fox Sports Radio. Just search Fox Sports Radio. Covino and Rich. And speaking of, remember, you could also check us out on YouTube. Covino and Rich FSR. Our bonus pod episode 112 premieres today. Let's go.
All right.
Now, every Thursday, we do something called Old School Win 50 Hits. We reminisce. And we throw it back. And on this day in 86, the Fox Network launched. And their whole angle was, we're edgy.
Oh. Yeah.
And I think it was led by Married with Children, personally.
Yeah, honestly, it took a couple years for the network to build some steam. But I think if you were to say what's the trifecta of early Fox days, Married with Children, Simpsons, In Living Color stick out to me. But Spotty, our video guy, was saying you got to remember like 21 Jump Street.
Oh, yeah.
Cops was a big show. America's, what was it? What was the video on?
Totally Hidden Video.
Totally Hidden Video.
Oh,
That's what
man,
it was.
flashback.
Oh, I'm sorry. And America's Most Wanted. That was sort of like, ooh.
So, yeah, and again, you got to remember for the time. If you're younger than us, yeah, it may have seemed normal to you, but back then, nothing like that was on television, on regular network television. So this became the fourth major network, and it changed the way we watch. So on this day, we throw it back and reminisce, and we get you involved on what was considered edgy.
Well, there was something also a little more diverse and edgy about Fox, because keep in mind, like, if you think CBS has always been like very vanilla, very like middle America, safe, CBS. Fox came out.
Oh, I thought when you said vanilla, it means like there was no chocolate involved. There was no
there wasn't
nothing else involved.
Honestly, CBS still gets criticized, right? They're
Yeah.
they're very
They
white.
were very bland,
Right.
back,
You know,
especially back in the
Not
day.
spicy.
And truthfully, like, I always to this day
Needs a little
think,
sprinkle of tahini.
till this day, Danny G, and I don't think I'm saying anything revolutionary here, I think Jim Carrey benefited more than anyone else based on how he was the one white dude on a predominantly black sketch comedy show in Living Color. And I think if you ask a lot of your...
You could go to any barbecue.
If you ask any of your black friends, yo, give me like a white comic you like.
Gary Owen
and Jim Carrey. And Jim Carrey really was the crossover, culturally. And I think when he started coming out with movies, I think all your friends that were African American were like, yo, Jim Carrey's my dude. So
without a doubt. But again, this was way edgy for the time, and it sort of opened the floodgates. It's when like parental advisory albums were also a big deal, right? So take you back to those cartoons, those albums, the music, the movies that were edgy, and you'd lower the volume or you'd change the channel when your mom walked in on you. And I don't know if it was meant to be edgy, but it was a little on the perverted side.
What's that?
My dad would be watching Benny Hill as a kid, and I would watch with him, and there would be women in lingerie running around all over the place. Oh, Willard!
Yes.
Hey, go!
Willard!
You go. I'm
Willard
sorry.
in Reno, that's his.
Willard, it was great because you'd sit there as a kid. My dad would be laughing his ass off, but I'd be like, whoa,
Hey,
what's
Covino
going on?
Rich.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up, Willard?
Hey, what's up, Covino? What's up, Rich? What's up, Diamonds and Pearls, Diamond Dan? You know how long I've been listening to Diamond Dan. Anyways, guys, I used to have a string hooked up to my TV to where I can turn it off because it had a switch. I can yank the string and turn it off before my mom walked in. And yes, Benny Hill was one, but
hilarious.
the real one was on Showtime, and it was After Hours. It was called Emmanuel.
I love it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well,
I love this
remember,
guy.
if you had that box, too, we had a box with the wire. The box with the
Yep.
wire before we had, your regular remote control
It was an
cable box.
analog cable box.
The analog cable box. If you pressed 3 channels just a certain way, the right way, you'd get that scrambled Playboy or Spice channel. And again, that's what we're talking about. Those edgy moments.
The cable boxes that had the turn knobs, you could also hold it in between 2 of the pay channels and get it to unscramble.
But
and my brother would get a baseball card, fold it in half, and stick it in there so that it would hold the position.
Or he would just make you hold it.
your imagination would run wild because you swear you see some crazy stuff.
He watched the show called Lady Chatterley on Cinemax.
I remember that. I remember Lady Chatterley. I remember late night Skinemax was pretty edgy for the time for regular cable channel. But back to Benny Hill. Benny Hill would be patting the old guy on the head, but they'd be running around in fast speed to that song with all these women with their Ghibli bits hanging out for the most part.
Ghibli bits.
Yeah. So you're like, whoa.
I remember, as I've joked before, I used to tape some of those late night Cinemax movies on VHS tapes and label them 49ers games so that my mom would never, I'd be like 49ers Bears Monday night. Meanwhile, it would be, do you remember Bikini Car Wash Company?
Yeah, those perverted 80s comedies.
There was one that I'll never remember the name, but it was a dude that made a wish and the genie was really hot. It was like something on a beach. Is this just a fantasy I had? No, but if everyone remembers what I'm talking about.
Are you talking about Kazam with Shaquille O'Neal?
Is it Miracle Beach? Is that possible?
So
anyway.
If you know, let us know at 877-99 on Fox. And I'm going to give you one more. I gave you Benny Hill, and he agreed. Thanks for the call, man. On the music front, I remember how naughty and wild and rebellious I felt listening to Twisted Sister as a kid. Maybe for you that was NWA or even Run DMC early on or something.
Or dare I say, the genre of rap.
Twisted Sister for me was that band. Parental Advisory, D. Snyder actually fought that, right? But I would have to lower it. If I heard my mom coming up the steps and I was listening to You're Gonna Burn in Hell, I'll burn in hell, I'd have to lower that because I'm like, I don't want my mom to think I'm some sort of devil worshiper. And it was a different time. My aunts would go to my mom, are you sure you want Steven listening to that? So I'd have these posters in my room, but that's what was considered edgy at the time.
What was the story you'd once tell me? You were listening to If I Could Just Kill a Man.
Oh, that was the only time my dad.
Hill.
Yeah, it was the only time my dad sort of reprimanded me. I was listening to the OG Cypress Hill. Here is something you can't understand. How I could just kill a man. My dad came in, hey, man, that's what you listening to? Killing Man? That you listen to, man? And I was like, oh, I don't know.
It's a song, Dad.
Cypress Hill.
Yeah, you want to kill people? What's wrong with you?
But that was 90s, right? But we're going 86. But whatever that story is for you, there's no rules here.
Yeah, we're talking about what you remember pushing the envelope that now when you look back, it really is nothing. Danny, I'll say it again. He brings up the music. I think the genre of rap in itself had a reputation.
There was a lane, and my mom used to tell me, why can't you just listen to the positive rap? Because there was
gangster rap.
Yeah, there were different kinds of rap music.
Dude, guys
And
like Snoop Dogg and guys like Ice Cube are like family-friendly dudes right now. Those were the most bad dudes on planet Earth at one point.
It was definitely edgy. There's no question
Yeah,
about
come
it.
on.
yeah,
A lot of cursing.
there were rappers like Chuck D and KRS-One and guys like that were trying to teach you something.
And I know because of KRS-One.
Right, and then there was NWA and some of the gangster rap. And my mom, remember those Memorex tapes that were like pink and yellow with the swirl colors?
Of course.
My mom was curious about what was on some of those tapes in my bedroom while I was at school. She listened, and it was NWA, How to Blank a Blank. And she lost her mind. When I got home from school, she said, just because we're in this environment we were in LA at the time, doesn't mean you could listen to this raunchy music.
Edgy.
Either you listen to positive rap music or no rap music.
Right.
And
Wow.
and so, I had to be very careful with what music I was even DJing on my turntables in my bedroom.
Covino's mom gave him a Karen Carpenter CD, the cassette, and said, "How about this, Steven?"
And I'm like, no, Twisted Sister, I want to rock. But, back to TV, too, I don't think anyone's going to say it, so I'll say it. Andrew Dice Clay was as edgy as it got because he was doing nursery rhymes. You vibed with that as a kid, but you didn't want your mom hearing these
you
nursery
repeated
rhymes.
him at recess.
Yeah, it was the
But
best.
you played dumb when your mom's like, what's that? Nothing. Let's go to the phone calls.
Let's do it.
And on the anniversary of Fox debuting, and again, it just pushed the envelope with In Living Color and, like we said, The Simpsons and Married with Children. What used to be considered pushing the envelope, looking back, it's pretty funny that
Should we blame Fox for opening up the floodgates? Are we better off with all this smut and raunch and vulgarity?
I have a few more great examples, but I don't want to steal them. So let's go to Boo in Texas. We'll start with you. What's up, Boo?
Hey, Boo.
Hey, you guys hear me?
We hear you, man. What was considered raunchy or edgy back in the day?
Yeah, so my mom was pretty cool. Like stuff like Saturday Night Live, she thought was pretty edgy, but she let us watch it. Like me and my brother, and even some of the late night stuff on HBO. But she was like, "Don't ever tell anybody outside the house. Like, don't talk about it at school and all this kind of stuff." Until my brother brought home the first Two Live Crew tape.
Oh, forget about it. Even the album cover was edgy.
Yeah. He kind of snuck it in, and he was like, "Look what I got!" And we never played that one out loud. Though.
Dude, there is smut everywhere now, right? I mean, listen, the younger generation. What's that fact? Like 1 out of 10 girls, 18 to 25, has her own OnlyFans page. Like we live in a world where people
this stuff is tame.
Yeah, this is
compared
tame.
to
I remember bringing
today.
home if you brought home a poster of a girl with big boobs from Spencer's Gifts and put it on your wall, your mom might have been like, "What are you doing?"
My
What
mom
is
had
wrong with
had
you?
a heart attack when I took down my Don Mattingly Hitman poster to put up some Cindy Crawford.
Really quick, just to go back to what you were saying a minute ago about how it opened things up.
It did.
Off the air, Iowa Sam was saying that we got to see a lot of good programming that we would have missed out on. And also, it was some creative freedom that we still wouldn't have maybe, because I worked at NBC Sports Radio prior to this network. Most of the stuff, I'll say 80% of what we joke about on this show and what we're able to do, I couldn't do on that network. We'd get yelled at because they wanted to be more of a CBS, what Rich was saying before about bland and be careful and safe and all that. And because the Fox brand is somewhat irreverent, we're able to do things and have fun in a way that we normally wouldn't get to.
That's true. They
do on
weren't
the
breaking
air.
any rules technically. They were just pushing them as far as they could go.
I'll tell you what. Before here. We were I think we were a little less fun at ESPN. They were a little, before they let McAfee sort of just do what he wants. Before that, they were very like, oh.
No, absolutely. So back to your phone calls, because I got a bunch of answers. But what was considered edgy back then? You want to talk to Trip?
Yeah. Let's go to Vegas. Hey, Trip
in Vegas.
Hey, gentlemen. I've been watching y'all on TV. I think y'all need lunch again. You're looking kind of thin around there. I'm gonna watch the Bikini Car Wash too when I get home on HBO Max. That's a great one.
It's a good
one.
one.
I was gonna say, back in the day, first parent advisory lyrics I had was Ice-T back when he was a rapper, and then Richard Pryor. I brought that home one time, and they turned it on, and the first words out of his mouth was the F word. My father's like, "You can turn that off."
Yep.
I mean, because it was the look on their face. The first word, so it's good.
Yeah. Nah, honestly, it's
a lot of Eddie Murphy too. I remember my mom walking me out of movies, like pulling me by my ears because it would get too raunchy. I remember my mom walking out of think it was like 48 Hours, Eddie Murphy movies, like because of the language.
Do you remember?
It's just a different time.
Speaking of which, now that you got me thinking of even deeper stuff now, of course, there's going to be really good general answers, but specific movies and shows that had a scene that made you feel uncomfortable, but looking back, now it would mean nothing. In 2025, tame, but maybe back then you were like, oh my God, because I just thought of one. We all watched this movie a million times as a kid. Goonies. When they drop the statue and the penis breaks off the statue.
Oh, my goodness.
With that little scene when you, pun intended, with that scene when you watch that and Mouth is like, yeah, that's her favorite part of the statue. That, when watching that with your parents, I remember having stomach aches.
They glued it upside down.
Yeah, they glued it upside down. But when you were a kid,
the weird part of the
was
story, though, is when Rich told me this earlier, he said that giant penis. And I was like, what are you talking about?
No, stop.
That is a great thought, though, Rich, because there were certain scenes in certain VHS tapes where our parents would make us hit the fast forward button. Top Gun, whenever that scene would come on where he finally hooked up with his instructor.
Yeah.
And I look back at it now, it's such a lame love scene, but my mom made us fast forward that every time.
It's funny. My dad used to love the movie and probably still does. Bachelor Party.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know if
Capane.
I don't know if I know that movie in its entirety because my dad would let me watch, but every so often he would just be like, all right, put a pillow in front of your face for this. And I'd have to, I'd have to do that. So
I'm going to steal a Danny G answer because I thought the same thing when we said, let's talk about this. When I was a kid, I remember listening to early Howard Stern because my dad would listen to him. And I remember he would get those Bongo Fiestas. He would order those early pay-per-views. I'd be sneaking down the stairs just to see what was going on. Like, what are they watching over here? But listening to those early radio programs, that was wild. That was way edgy for the time.
Or I texted you guys this morning about this topic that in the early 90s, my mom would not let us have Howard when he was on E. She'd make us turn the channel.
I watched so much Howard Stern on E.
No,
as a
because
kid.
you remember the commercials that would air during that? Girls Gone Wild commercials?
Were those?
And then Wild On would be on after that?
Were those episodes of Howard Stern like of the time, or were they like from years prior?
No,
when they
they
do
were,
the TV show.
I worked with all those dudes.
Oh man, that was a late night
simulcast
on E.
Yeah, that was going on like the week before.
Yeah,
they had replays, but they were all current.
Yeah, they had
real time.
best of.
They were on like 11:30 at night on E. So that was what I watched as like a teenager.
So funny, man.
I have another one that I watched this show with my mom. This show on ABC in the mid '90s, like actually late '80s, I think. Push the Envelope. Do you guys know this theme? NYPD Blue. For both language and nudity. The show was very edgy, very raunchy, very real, and also Homicide: Life on the Street we watched together.
No, but that's why it's a great answer, Sam, because you think from today's perspective of like this was edgy, and it was. That's how
Dennis Franz's
that's how much
butt.
things. Yeah, that's how much life has changed. So let's get back to the phone calls.
You know what? I have one more, and then we'll go to the feedback. I don't think anyone's going to say this one because you mentioned Howard Stern.
Yeah, I mean he was.
Remember Pig Vomit in the movie?
He was very
Howard
edgy.
Stern's the devil. I mean,
WNBC.
So think about where especially women have learned to really own their sexuality, right? Like back in the day, I remember sitting in my room listening to Loveline. There was Dr. Judy. I know there were other ones, Dr. Ruth, but Dr. Judy was a syndicated show. And remember, Dr. Drew had his show. Loveline was a big deal.
Wasn't Adam Carolla on that show at one point?
Adam Carolla, of course.
Yeah.
And now, fast forward, Call Her Daddy is like one of the top podcasts in the country, and it is like, it makes that seem like children's cartoons. What you listen to on Loveline, Call
That was
Her
actually
Daddy,
helping people. People would call in and they have like an STD and they like describe it for Dr. Drew, and he's like, "Yeah, you have syphilis."
Yeah, now Call Her Daddy just teaches women how to give good. Yeah,
You know what's interesting too, Rich? As a parent, though, you have these
Advice.
conversations
Pep
with
talks.
your kids because I'll tell my daughter Melody about Beavis and Butthead or something like that, like with television MTV. MTV was kind of edgy,
Yeah.
and they had Beavis and Butthead, but at the time, that was pushing the envelope even further than The Simpsons. And then, of course, South Park. But to me,
Ren and
Beavis and
Stimpy.
Butthead, Ren and Stimpy, they all pushed the envelope. So a kid will watch that today and be like, that's stupid. But you have to explain to them, but at the time, Beavis and Butthead were way edgy.
It's like your parents or grandparents telling you, like, oh, they had to cut out Elvis shaking his hips. I
Right.
mean, women and men didn't sleep in the same bed in television.
Until what? Was it the Flintstones or I Love Lucy?
One of
them.
those. Well, speaking of also sexuality, I'm pretty certain this fun fact is Dawson's Creek in the 2000s had the first gay kiss on television. Before that, that was look at where we are in 2025 compared to 20 years ago. So we've come a long way. So let's go to Mike in Minnesota. What's up, Mike?
Hey, what's up? So you stole the love line. That was one of the things I was going to say.
Get out of here.
The other one, though, that I get a kick out of is like after watching a rerun of Wings or something, La Femme Nikita on USA.
Yeah, those are good ones for sure. Femme Nikita. Chris and Indy, you're on with Covino and Rich. Hey, Chris.
All right, you guys got my my Wild on E Brooke Burke scene because every few minutes you may be able to catch a thong. But so I've got another one for you. Do you guys remember the Man Show? I don't remember what channel it was on. Girls jumping on trampolines.
I think it's Central, right?
Yeah, Corolla and Kimmel back in the day. Yeah, that was that was great.
Yeah.
That's what, is ironic about Jimmy Kimmel today. I'm not saying people don't grow and change, but that's always what comes back at him. Like, hey, you mean the guy that had women on trampolines?
With little people?
And that's fine. That's funny. It was great.
In fact, I like that version.
Yeah. But, people love to bring that up.
He also hosted Win Ben Stein's Money. You guys remember that, too?
Right.
Of course.
I love both of those shows. I think they were on, I don't know, back-to-back, but the same night, I think.
So edgy programming, comedy, music, movies.
Can I throw one more at you?
Sure.
Something that used to be considered, wild, right? That was, oh, my God. And now it's tattoos. Dennis Rodman having tattoos in the NBA made him seem like a maniac.
Without a doubt.
Tell me
and then Allen Iverson.
Yeah,
but
tell me. Name an NBA.
Now the biggest nerd on Love is Blind has full-on sleeves. Seriously. It's really something that was edgy, and now everybody has them.
The NBA. I want you to think of a player. It's hard to think of a player now that doesn't have tattoos everywhere. Back then, Dennis Rodman was like a trailblazer. Can you believe? He's got all those tattoos and piercings, and he dyed his hair. That was considered wild as could be. Evan in Los Angeles, you're on. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, guys? I have one that's a little bit more obscure. Do you guys remember the animated movie Heavy Metal?
I do.
Which, my dad would always quote that movie. I remember showing it to some friends, and they go home and tell their parents, and next thing you hear, knock, knock, knock. Why are you showing my son? It was like, what? You saw some animated tits and ass and some cursing? Get over it.
Yep.
So funny, man. Hey, thank you. To hear what Evan said, catch the podcast.
I don't think you could say that word, right?
I'm not sure if you could say that, but please catch our podcast
you can say
anyway.
TNA.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Sam.
Gotcha.
If it wasn't for Fox, we couldn't say any of the words.
What was considered edgy back in the day, you could say we've come a long way, or you could say, I don't know, are we better off? I don't know.
Well, I don't think...
I don't want to sound like Mrs. Grundy. I don't want to sound prudish.
Well,
but it is interesting to look back at what we thought was dangerous, and it really wasn't. Or what we thought was edgy, and compared to today, it really wasn't.
Not even necessarily edgy, but wow, how risky. Look around the room. Every one of us, for the most part, has some type of facial hair going on. Back in the day, if you saw a guy with a big beard, it would almost be like, what is this?
Was he out of prison?
Oh, this guy's got a beard.
My mom would be like, what's he hiding under there?
Beard and tattoos. And I'll give you one more, and then we'll take your feedback when we get back. Do you remember Madonna and Britney kissing at the VMAs?
Oh, yeah.
That was considered whoa.
Taboo.
And Christina Aguilera was involved too. That was
very taboo.
Can you believe it? Nowadays, college girls and guys do all these crazy things. Remember in college when two girls would kiss for a free shot? It was oh my God.
Girls Gone Wild.
Yeah, Girls Gone Wild. Like you mentioned, it was a thing. Now it's everyone's gone wild and lost their damn minds. All right, your feedback, your calls, all that next. The topic at hand on the anniversary of Fox becoming a network. What was once edgy that's not really that edgy anymore?
All right, we'll wrap it up with your phone calls next. Covino and Rich on Fox Sports Radio. And if you're looking for a new way to hire and manage your workforce, Express Employment Pros makes it easy. Forget about posting jobs, sifting through resumes, being ghosted, interviews with unqualified applicants. Move up to the pros with expresspros.com.
Express is your full-service workforce solution, connecting you with top talent fast. Every day, Express recruits and screens a variety of workers in your area. So when it's time to hire, they have the talent you need ready to go to work. Contract workforce through Express can help you manage contingent labor costs and provide the people you need to meet with current demands. And if you need full-time employees, no problemo. Express can recruit for you.
Express Employment Pros helps tens of thousands of companies find workers, saving business time and increasing flexibility. So find your nearest location at expresspros.com.
Each of the 870 Express locations locally owned and operated, backed by the support of an international headquarters. So listen, we know hiring is stressful and a pain in the butt, so stop the hassles. Partner with Express. Go to expresspros.com to find the location near you. One of those nights where my family was just all in the living room, chilling out. We let our kids stay up a little later because they were sort of watching the football game and sort of learning the game a little bit more last night. They both seemed sort of locked in, Cowboys, Packers. My wife's family, Packers fans. So they're watching, and I'm explaining, like, see the yellow line? That's a first down. They get 4 chances to get 10 yards. I'm like doing the dad instructional. And of all games, I'm trying to teach them about the rules. It's a damn tie. And then I had to think to myself, well, do I have any real feelings about a tie? And I think I'm going to defend the tie today. I'm going to defend the bolo tie because I think it's a cool look. Remember Phillip Rivers would rock the bolo tie? I'm going to defend the tie in football because I think what it does to the standings is awesome. Because at the end of the year, if you're OCD about seeing what team is where, now the Packers are probably going to be like 11, 5-1, 10-6-1, the 12-4. Yeah, that one is going to really mess up that North. But do you think there's something really crappy about two teams battling 4 quarters plus overtime, and it's 40-40, and they both walk away like, eh?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
How do you fix it, though? We talked about this for years. And my solution is simple. Dan Beyer, add 5 minutes.
Yes.
Each team got the ball, and it seems like each team with the legit possession equals about 10 minutes. If you had 5 more minutes left in that overtime period, just make it another quarter, 15 minutes. I think someone urgently moves the ball down the field and at least tries a winning field goal. I think 10 minutes is just designed for a tie in a weird way.
It 100% is. And previously, I think they were just trying to get the game over with.
Yeah.
On the first score that wins the game. And then you do the thing where you're like, okay, well, now it's got to be both teams have first touchdown wins the game. So if you kick a field goal, that lent it to, all right, we're gonna have more ties, because they did. There were multiple ties in previous seasons under the old rule of field goal does not win it for you, touchdown wins it for you. There were more ties. Now with this, they never changed the period length. Adding 5 more minutes to the quarter would be a huge, huge difference, because it just doesn't make any sense to have it this way when, if you are going to have a field goal drive, it's probably going to be about 4 to 5 minutes, especially, too, if one of the teams is always going for it on 4th down if they need to, because they have to tie the game because they're trailing at that point.
And like you said, the length of a drive in that situation is about 4 to 5 minutes. Do that 2 times, you match field goals to tie? My team hasn't tied in a long time. I would love to hear from a Packers fan or a Cowboys fan. How are you feeling today? Is it like, because you're not, your football team does determine your mood. I'm a little sour today. My Mets lost and the Niners lost. So today I woke up and I'm like, yeah, sort of feel a little like asked. If your team ties, do you feel good about that? Like after the game, even when the players were bro hugging and the coaches were shaking hands, it almost feels like an odd, like, you know, when you're at a blackjack table and you're like, sweet, I got a 20, and the dealer flips a 20 and you're like, oh.
Well, it was better for Packers fans than running out of time there at the end with that pass that went out of bounds.
No,
because that would have been a disaster.
They're so lucky that ball immediately went down.
The 1 second to go. I just think ties happen so infrequent. Like they had, was a couple years ago we had like 2 or 3 in a season, but I think you just sort of move on and deal with it because they happen infrequently enough that most of the time you do have a winner and a loser. But it happens. And it is a weird feeling. It's like you have to tell your kids this one like thing that happens that doesn't happen very often, but you have to explain it, and you're like, well, it's like not a win or a loss. It's a tie. It's a draw.
I don't know. I mean, I like it because, again, I feel like it's at the end of the season, it's always fun because it messes up your playoff positions and standings and rankings. Just for all you know, towards the end of the year, the Lions and Packers, they might be battling, and it's like, ooh, that half a game is either going to work for or against the Packers. So, you're right, better than a loss, but do we think ties stink?
What are you trying to upset my dad?
Yeah, what are you listening to this for? Yeah. This what you into? How I could kill a man?
So funny. What used to be edgy is now like, what?
You know what was edgy but still is edgy, but it was really edgy for the time? Basic Instinct, because of one particular scene.
Yeah.
You know what? You ain't kidding.
Right? Because that took the world by storm. Sharon Stone was naughty. And your mom didn't want you watching that.
No.
Covino and Rich on Fox Sports Radio. Love throwing it back and reminiscing with you here every Thursday on the show. Old School and 50 Hits. The music, parental advisory songs. Anytime the word hell was sung or there was a curse word in your rap song, Dan Byer, I can't imagine you listening to I Want Your Sex in front of your parents.
Well, I can tell you this, that when I was a kid, I bought Girls, Girls, Girls by Motley Crue on cassette.
Oh.
And
Were you
because,
crazy?
well, when they said kickin', you know what, on the wild side, it was in the lyrics. And my mom was not having that. So I had to give it to my cousin. I even tried to scribble out the word, thinking it would be okay,
so
but it was
funny.
not.
Our buddy Jeff hit us up in Alabama. He said with his allowance money, he went to go buy an Eminem album. And his mom immediately, what did he say? He goes, one of my first CDs I bought with my own allowance money, I got the Eminem Show. My mom took one listen, and she made me return it.
Dude, any sexual reference, like Belle Biv DeVoe, Do Me, or any time they sing about sex or Push It by Salt and Pepper, those were like, you gotta lower it when the parents were around because it was edgy for the time. Now that's just pop music. They have sex jingles that your kids are singing to.
Listen to Doja Cat or Cardi B, and you're like, whoa.
You kidding me?
Yeah.
So again, edgy for the time because on this day.
What was that show? What was that song 2 years ago? Wet Ass?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's where we're at now.
So on this day, the Fox network became a thing. They pushed the envelope, and the parents like, whoa, what are you watching? The Simpsons? What are you, crazy? What were those edgy things? Please continue to chime in at Covino and Rich at Fox Sports Radio on social media.
Covino is 100% right when it comes to just the word sex.
Oh, yeah.
I remember Madonna Like a Virgin was a weird song when it would come on because I'm like, that would insinuate you knew what a virgin meant around your parents. Like, oh, virgin. There was something very strange about it, right?
I used to have that talk with my friends. Like if I had like some sort of lampwick edgy type of friend. Hey, guys, listen, we don't laugh to any dirty jokes, and we don't curse in front of my parents, all right? I'd have to talk with my friends before they came in the house.
All right, let's say hi to, we'll go rapid fire, and then we'll go to DB's update. We'll start with Waco. Adam, you're on with CNR. What's up, buddy?
Hey, guys. You guys suck. I have a funny story. When I was 15 or 16, my mom and I decided to go to the movie theater together. We didn't know what we were going to see, so we ended up seeing Something About Mary together.
Oh, boy.
The Frankenbeans, the in the hair
scene.
Oh my God. Oh yikes. Oh.
You know what was pretty edgy? I'm going to bring it back to sports just for a second. It is Fox Sports Radio. I always thought Morgana, the kissing bandit, was kind of edgy because she came out bouncing around, if you remember. I thought Elvira was kind of edgy. She was showing a lot back then. I'd stay up late for it.
Could I tell you that my brother is newly single, just went through a divorce, and it was the most cringy thing because, we're all adults now. My mom, in front of me and my brother, said, well, Jimmy, you're single now. Like, when you go on these dates, like, how long are you waiting to have sex with these random women?
Mom.
And my brother and I like, Jesus Christ, Mom!
That's edgy.
My mom's like, we're all adults. No, we're not, Mom. We don't, no, these are lines we don't cross. We leave the room and there's a nudie scene. We do not have these conversations.
And you know what? Just to take you back to that mindset, we talked about the scrambled channels. You stayed up late watching that HBO jingle, that feature presentation, waiting for a rated R. You're like, come on, rated R, let's go. Yes,
right.
Rated R.
Let's go back to the rapid fire as soon as you finish this lyric for me that you were scared to sing as a kid. Ready?
Okay, yeah.
Old Miss John Glenn, Liston Beat, Patterson, Pope Paul, Malcolm X, British politician.
Say
JFK blown away. yeah. Not singing that in front of Mom. All right, John in Montana. What's up, Johnny?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey.
Real quick with a rapid fire. You kind of took the Beavis Butthead here, but that was my whole thing as an 8-9-year-old kid, and then my older brother introduced me to a little movie called South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut.
Yeah.
That's
great.
Way different. And you know what? It's so tough to monitor as a parent. Like, you're going to try to keep euphoria away from your teenage kids. They're exposed to so much. It's horrible. It really is. But, like, it's almost something you need to prepare them for because there's no way to stop it.
Our teenager watches Love Island, and I don't like it, but there's no way I can stop her from
How
doing
in the world are you going to stop it? All the kids are talking about it. They have
on
phones.
her phone. Yeah, exactly.
They go to a friend's house. There's no way. So they're exposed to so much.
You almost have to, not to sound like, giving advice here, but you almost have to just be a good parent, guide them the right way, and hope they make the right decisions because you can't keep this stuff away from them. You're right, Danny. You have a teenage daughter watching Love Island. What do you think? That's not going to happen?
And it's as simple as them, like, for you to be exposed to something, it's because you found it in the street somewhere or you found your dad's collection or whatever, or happened by chance. Now it's a link. Your kid opens a link, it'd be something terrible.
Yeah.
So you just got to tell them, look, that's not the norm, and make good choices like Rich said.
All right, Dylan in Illinois. What's up, Dylan?
Hey, I got one that kind of blurs the lines of edgy. If you guys remember Talk Sex with Sue Johansson, where the little old lady would talk about everything from, like, positions to the things they've been throwing on the court at WNBA games.
Yeah.
All of it.
Was that like a Dr. Ruth?
Yeah, something very Dr. Ruth.
Danny and I were talking about it. It was like better sex ed than you were getting in high school. Absolutely better. And she was like Canadian, and she would come on, and I think on E after Howard Stern.
Anyone ever find it weird that in school it was like the random gym teacher that had to, like, talk to you guys about stuff like that?
Mr. Buzzcut taught you about puberty.
All right, let's go to Rob. Rob, you're on. What's up?
What up, Texas?
Hey, so back in the day when you had to pay $100 for a video membership and VHS just came out, I remember my uncle bringing home Risky Business, and the parents and all the adults sending us back to our bedrooms, go to bed early and watching it.
Yeah.
I
know what I thought he was going to say? I thought he was going to say when you would go to the video store and they had the one part where it was behind, like, the beaded door, and, like, you would see, like, your neighbor back there. What does he do? Oh, can't go back there. Heidi in Florida. What's up, Heidi?
Hey, Heidi.
Hey, for me, I was a young teenager, and I had the album, Donna Summer, and she had that song, Love to Love You, Baby, and it got very orgasmic. That was like, oh, wow.
I love to love you, baby. By the way, I'm wearing a Playboy T-shirt today. This is in reference to a Muhammad Ali article that they wrote in '74 at Playboy. But to think that this doesn't even exist because we're so past the envelope.
Yeah, that's not enough.
It's not enough.
Yeah.
Playboy was as risque. If you got your hands on a VHS, that's as risque as it got.
Steve in Odessa, wrap it up, and then we'll go to Dan for an update. What's up, Steve?
What's up, guys? Long time, second time. I remember, and my mom worked nights. It's a product of a single mom. And when I was a kid, there was a late-night show on HBO called The Hitchhiker.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was like a 30-minute kind of slutty, kind of mixed some horror in there. But that was like my first introduction, staying up late at night just to, catch 30 minutes and hoping they'd have a nudity. Because they always say bad language, graphic nudity.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, it was great. It was very, it was very Tales from the Crypt-ish kind of, The Hitchhiker. Good one. Thank you so much. Thanks for reminiscing with us. The rest of your answers at Covino and Rich. And we still got to get you ready for NFL Thursday night. But DB first. DB's got an update.
What's up, Dan Byer?
I have no idea how you could get your record player to play backwards, but even if we could, we were not allowed. Some of those albums and the satanic messages
from
the various rock bands and metal bands, that was a no-no. We don't have a no-no going on in Game 4 of the NLDS, but the Phillies and Dodgers are scoreless right now in the top of the third inning in their Game 4. Dodgers up 2-1 in the series. Harrison Bader not in the lineup for the Phillies today. Brewers and Cubs come up 9 o'clock Eastern time in their Game 4 in Chicago, with Milwaukee leading that series 2-1. Former Red Sox outfielder Mike Greenwell died. He passed away at the age of 62 after a battle with cancer. Week 6 in the NFL season starts with the Eagles and Giants, 8:15 Eastern time. Some injury news in the NFL. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson missed another practice today because of his strained hamstring. Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray didn't practice. He's dealing with that foot injury, while 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy missed practice with his toe injury, according to ESPN. Purdy was spotted doing conditioning drills on the side in the portion of practice open to the media. Patriots corner Christian Gonzalez popped up on the injury report with a hamstring injury, and sciatica is what's got LeBron James, the Lakers forward, going to miss the first a couple of weeks of the NBA season. Lakers saying he's out 3 to 4 weeks, according to ESPN, with sciatica on his right side. That would rule him out of their opener against Golden State in less than 2 weeks. Guys, back to you.
Dan Byer, you're a fantasy football expert. Is it safe to say this year, a lot of bang-ups, a lot of guys, even if it's for a week or so, I feel like every team's got a couple key offensive players that are finding their way on and off the bench.
Yes, I think more so now, too, with this 17-game schedule. It's a much longer regular season. Teams aren't willing to risk their players. It's a different ball game than it was 20, 30 years ago.
Every week in our Guillotine League, I feel like I have to figure something out.
Yes. Yeah, somebody's in, somebody's out.
It's a lot of fun. Thanks for inviting us into that.
Thanks,
all right,
guys.
we got more Covino and Rich. We'll go over tonight's Thursday Night Football matchup. Is it all about Jackson Dart tonight, or is it all about Eagles domination in Philly? We'll break that all down next right here on Fox Sports Radio.
But I'm going to give you my top 5 all-time, like, that we grew up with. as we throw it back and reminisce on Overpromise, okay? I'm not talking Dad's Old Spice. I'm not talking Dad's Brute and Grandpa's Aqua Velva. I'm not talking aftershaves. I'm not talking cheap-ass Stetson and pharmacy colognes.
Did every
Mexicali Musk for Men.
Every dad in the 80s or 90s definitely had Brute, right? Like, without a doubt. Like, there wasn't a dad that didn't have Brute.
I'm talking, for the most part, our generation and my personal top. And if you disagree, that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their wrong opinion. So coming in at number 5 for me, this was not easy. Because I was like, do I go Fahrenheit? No, I'm going Jupe. Because everybody talked about Jupe in the 90s. Jupe is number 5.
I had a buddy, Jeff, and I still do. Hey, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
I doubt he's watching because, as you always say, no one that you really care about supports you.
Right.
My buddy, Jeff, was convinced in the late 90s, like, I have this secret recipe of how I'm going to get all the girls. I'm like, what, Jeff? He's like, Jupe. And I remember us all being like, yeah, Jeff and his Jupe. Like, he was so...
Well, you know what? It's not really... Like, I was more of a Fahrenheit guy. I put them in the same category, maybe because they were both purplish. But it was so popular, I had to put it as a number 5.
Okay.
Like, people loved to talk about it, and it stood out. Number 4 for me, Cool Water. Everybody had a Cool Water phase. It was different. It was good. Oh, it got so much ass. Cool Water at number 4. And just to make it snappy, Rich... One of my all-time favorites at number 3, Aqua di Gio, is still good. It still hits. That's a number 3 for me.
My theory is if you go with the wifey or girlfriend to an Ulta or a Sephora at the mall with your kid or wife, if it's still displayed prominently, then it's not out of style, right? I mean, if Aqua di Gio is still there in like the front showcase.
I'm not saying that you should rock all of these now. I'm saying all time. Some still hit.
Right.
But it also dates you. I'm letting that be known. I'm not saying that they don't, because they do.
I think it's a fair statement to say if you are a grown man, 40-ish or so, you have at one point in your life rocked Aqua di Gio.
Yeah,
without
it's still
a doubt.
good.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 2, and sometimes a good number 2 is better than a number 1, is Jean-Paul Gaultier. Except I don't think mine has a bulge like that. I think mine has boobs, Spot. Yeah, I don't know.
No, I think you were in the...
Am I wearing... Wait, does it have a bulge?
That's a bulge.
Oh, well, guess what?
Wait, isn't that how you dispense the cologne? You rub the bulge?
Can I tell you something? I still... Is that what you do? I still rock this after a shower because it has that fresh, powdery scent.
Imagine
I
if
still love it.
Imagine if they personalized the bottles and your Jean-Paul Gaultier came in a bottle shaped like your body.
Oh, man.
And it wasn't like a ripped dude with a bulge. It was like, my bottle has a bit of a dad bod.
And the all-time classic number 1, king of them all, I think it was the one that started it off for everybody when you became a man. Absolutely.
I know what you're saying because I even had an air freshener with this scent in my first car.
The king of them all. In fact... It should have a crown on it because it's the king of all the clones we grew up with. Is Jacquard Noir. Ba-bam. That will take you back.
Intense.
To the early 90s.
Powerful.
Immediately. It'll take you back to your Cavaricci days the second you smell it.
Who's Guy LaRoche?
I don't know, but I think that's the number 1. That's my guy. That's who it is.
Adam LaRoche's cousin. Jacquard Noir was so popular back in the 90s for people around our age. You remember, I got my first used car, saved up my money. Grandma and Grandpa helped me. First thing I did after I washed that car, went to the gas station and I bought a Jacquard air freshener. They had this little sacks, remember like the sacks and they had air fresheners. That's how popular Jacquard was.
Such a great scent that went with the times, especially as a Guido kid from New Jersey. And Spot, do you have that meme that pretty much shows all of them? Because I know you're thinking we left some out. Couldn't fit them all in. They were all great. But that doesn't mean you should live in that era. Buy some new ones. I use one called Clean right now.
There's just 5 words to say as you go down, down, down. Oh, I got to lower it. My mom's coming. Oh, lower it. Oh!
What are you listening to, Steven?
Oh, you're the devil. Oh,
no.
My mom's virgin ears. You can't believe all the things that go wrong in my life. I was such a rebel little kid. I had the best childhood. I was so mad. Trying to live on the edge of a night. D. Snyder, my hero, bro. So, Covino and Rich, man, I used to lower these lyrics anytime my mom was around. And
Ironically, Rich, Twisted Sister joined forces with my other hero, Pee Wee Herman. In the movie, 1985 Pee-wee's Big Adventure,
That's true.
he crashes the video shoot for You're Gonna Burn in Hell, if you guys remember. So we're throwing it back on a Thursday. Covino and Rich. Can't wait to read all the feedback later. And we're live from the Fox Sports Radio studio. For over 40 years, Tire Rack has been helping customers find the right tires for how, what, and where they drive. Ship fast and free. Backed by free road hazard protection with convenient installation options like mobile tire installation. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. And business fluctuations.
Oh, it does. Makes running your manufacturing business complex, but staffing your business doesn't have to be. Let Express Employment Pros provide the workforce you need. Go to expresspros.com. Find the location near you. That's expresspros.com.
Rich, you know how we said sex was a dirty word in all your songs?
Of course.
If it was sung in front of your parents, it was a nightmare. I remember hell was a dirty word.
Yeah,
so
no,
burn
for
in
sure.
hell. Like I remember doing a talent show, and it was Bon Jovi, and I was in grade. I was like 5th grade or whatever. You promised me heaven, you put me through hell. Right? We had to say put you through pain or heck or something like that, because you couldn't say that in front of people because it was
That's funny.
pushing the envelope.
So
different from today's world.
Yeah, you know what's a dirty word in today's world? My kids will say, like, you said the S word. I'm like, I said the S word. Like poop? like that? They're like, no, Dad, you said stupid. I'm like, my kids think, like kids now, they
It's
say.
good,
they-
though. You want to hear them say that.
Teachers will tell a kid something if they hear that.
Like stupid, dumb, and like,
Words that demean others.
Yeah.
Right?
So
I was reading Dr. Seuss the other day, and there's like, what was it? Like, I'm reading like, is it 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish?
Yeah.
And like, they're like, and the fat one, I was like, ooh, is fat a dirty word now?
That's a dirty word, bro.
They wanted to like take fat out of like a Roald Dahl book, like somebody did. I'm like, what are we doing?
Fat's a word. What's a descriptor?
I feel like
it's an adjective.
Fatso's coming back.
Fatso's making a comeback. It's
At
a
least
good
he
word.
came back in my living room last night when I was watching Big Papi.
Well, no, then you said Alejandro Kirk. Look at that Fatso. I'm like, be nice, be nice. He beat your Yankees.
He came back yesterday for me when I was watching the Yankees lose. All right, so tomorrow, Rich's big TV game of the week.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
Plus our new game, Brainwave. And I think we perfected it. So you want to call up tomorrow, play Brainwave for some CNR prizes, get you ready for the weekend with Weekend Hobnobbing. But right now, Rich, get us ready for Thursday Night Football. Eagles at the Giants.
What is
Are
this
we
about?
hyped about Jackson Dart or what? Is this his big, main stage premiere? Like, we're all tuning in to watch this dude,
The
right?
game's at the Meadowlands. People hate that field. People hate the conditions. But it's in New York, division rival, Thursday night. You got to ask yourself, what's going to go down tonight? Eagles at Giants. I don't like to overthink these things because, truthfully, we've been doing a pretty good job on these teaser bets on Thursday nights and Monday nights. In fact,
Wait, you're being humble. 9-0.
I'm 9-0, so I'm like,
So now you're nervous
I'm
because
so weary. I don't want to overthink it, but my instinct is bringing me somewhere. So follow me here. And I think the Eagles are 7.5-point favorites in New York.
Mm-hmm.
While I do think it'll be fun to watch Jackson Dart, and while I do think all eyes on, and we'll see what happens, and Cam Scattaboo, maybe you got some new gloves, or hold on to the ball. I like taking that teaser bet, 7.5, making it 1.5. I think Philadelphia wins. So Philly minus 1.5. The over-under is 41.5. I'm tempted to go up to 47.5 and taking the under. I just don't see a ton of points being scored. So I'm liking under 47.5, Philly minus 1.5. Lock that in as your teaser bet. We'll see what happens. And by the way, Danny, you may have just caught a big break. An error by the Philadelphia Phillies now has the Dodgers with 1st and 3rd, 2 down. You got Mookie Betts at the plate against Sanchez.
And
what a
play.
What a diving play by Bryce Harper, gets out of the inning.
That right there was a play. We said Bryce Harper, he's going to be the guy. So you got your Phillies, Dodgers, you got your Brewers, Cubs, and of course your Eagles, Giants. And we'll be talking about it tomorrow on the show. So I hope all your teams win. I hope you make some money moves.
Hey, you think Monsi jinxed you yesterday by wearing a Yankee shirt?
Dude, if she did, I'm never talking to her again.
Oh, hi, Monsi. Oh, what's going on?
I wasn't listening.
Did you
so
jinx,
start over.
You jinxed Covino yesterday by wearing a Yankee shirt.
You know what? I'm sorry. I felt
that's
that. I
why.
felt the same way. And
That's
you know,
why we're
I
not
only
friends anymore.
I wore it because I was like, Aaron Judge. Finally, you know, like I will not take slander on just only a few people in my life.
Yes.
My mom, Taylor Swift, Aaron Judge, Blake Griffin. Stop.
I like that.
You like that list? Thank you.
I do.
So I'm not taking
Dude
slander.
batted 500, had his
I know.
moment. Everybody shut up and put the blame on Anthony Volpe now.
Monty set fire to it was Arson Judge. She actually was wearing an Arson Judge shirt.
Speaking
Remember
of
that?
Volpe,
No.
speaking of Volpe, we do something called They Might Be Ass, and we do it in 6 minutes on Overpromised, our bonus podcast, episode 112. Brand new podcast. Join us live chat and everything. And we're going to do something called Is It Cheating? Because today's the anniversary of a big cheating scandal in sports, but we go over the new rules of today.
Okay. We'll do it all on Overpromise. Can't wait. So hang tight. That'll be on our YouTube page. Until then, arrivederci, baby.
See you in the Overpromised land. Let's go.
Goodbye.